on Beijing as it hosts the biggest sporting spectacle in the world, the Olympics. Through August, here on CNBC TV 18, we're going to get you what we're calling the Olympian effort. In this series, we're going to track athletes as they push the limits of human endurance and endeavor. And we're going to track brands as they pull out all stops to play the business of sport. Now, the modern Olympics, as we know them, started in 1896. At the last one in Athens in 2004, more than 4 billion people worldwide tuned in. The history of the Olympics is long and often controversial. Sandeep Shrikant gets us the highlights.
The revival of the modern Olympics in 1896 was the vision of one man, the Baron Pierre de Coubertin. 14 nations and 241 athletes answered his call and participated in 43 different events, including the high jump, marathon, and rowing. The Paris Olympics of 1924, captured on celluloid in the film Chariots of Fire, saw the Olympic motto Citius Altius Fortius introduced. It will perhaps always be remembered though for the legendary performance of Scottish missionary Eric Liddell, who incidentally died in China during World War II. The Berlin Olympics of 1936 was supposed to be the showcase of one man's vision of the world, but ended up being immortalized by the actions of another. To Adolf Hitler, the Olympics was a vehicle to prove his theories of Aryan superiority and showcase the might of fascist Germany. But it was the legendary performances of Jesse Owens and his 4 gold medals that are remembered to this day. At the end of the Great War, London was chosen to rekindle the spirit of the Olympic Games in 1948. The London Olympics were also the first games to be shown on television. For the Indian nation, the Rome Olympics of 1960 will forever be associated with one man and his glorious failure. The flying Sikh Milkha Singh broke the world record in the 400 meters final on his way to a photo finish 4th place in what some say was the greatest race ever.
तो जब रेस शुरू हुई तो जब मैं 250 यार्ड पे पहुंचा तो मैं सबसे आगे था. तो मेरे दिमाग के अंदर ये बात आई कि मिल्खा सिंह तो इतना तेज दौड़ रहा है कि हो सकता है कि ये 400 मीटर तो ख़त्म ना कर पाए. तो जिस रिदम के अंदर, जिस स्पीड के अंदर मैं जा रहा था, उस स्पीड को मैंने ड्रॉप किया. तो यही रेस के अंदर चीज़ थी कि जो मेरे से वहाँ पे गलती हो गई.
The legend of Mark Spitz was born at the 1972 Munich Games. His 7 gold medals in the pool is an achievement that stands unmatched to this day. 1972 was also the year when the Olympic spirit was shattered. The Israeli team base at the Olympic Village stormed by Palestinian terrorists in an attack that saw 8 athletes lose their lives. The Atlanta Games of 1996 saw the end of a drought. Leander Adrian Pace, already an Indian legend after his performances in the Davis Cup, won India's first individual medal since Helsinki 1952 when he took the bronze in the tennis event. Y2K saw the games head down under. Spectacular stadia, warm crowds, and a series of spectacular performances on track by Australia's Cathy Freeman and Michael Johnson saw these games nominated as the best ever. The first Olympics of the new millennium headed home to Athens. Despite worries on security and infrastructure, the games were dominated by a remarkable performance from American swimmer Michael Phelps. Rajavardhan Rathore scored India's only medal, a silver in shooting.
The Olympics are more than just about sports. They're about politics, like you saw in that report, and they're definitely about business. It's not just a matter of great honor for a country and a city to host the Olympics. It's also an opportunity to see huge development and a chance to rejuvenate an urban infrastructure. Since 2001, when China won its Olympic bid, it has been preparing for its date with destiny. It has pumped in some $40 billion into getting ready for the Games.
Beijing has grown faster, higher and stronger. With ambition that goes beyond sporting dreams, the desire to build an urban metropolis worthy of an 800-year-old capital has been bankrolled with more than $20 billion and supported by millions of workers. But Beijing has put the money to practical use. Only 10% of actual funds are targeted at Olympic venues. Much of the rest has been earmarked for overall development, including a city centre with 8 functional areas such as the Central Business District. Design and engineering firm Arup's Michael Kwok has seen the city transform since setting up shop in the CBD 7 years ago.
I cannot recall there are any other Olympic host city which have the similar situation where you have the huge amount of Olympic-related construction plus the huge sort of development within the city.
Arup's order books have benefited. Projects include the National Stadium, Aquatic Centre, the CCTV Tower, and even the new Capital International Airport. Costing almost $4 billion to build, it's now the world's largest building. The visible signs of development are seen not just in Beijing but also the coastal towns of Qingdao and Tianjin. Already a popular choice with local tourists, Qingdao is hoping that hosting the Olympic sailing events will propel it onto the global stage and make it a regular stop for global races. Over in China's northern city of Tianjin, the value of a government mandate is evident. A little over an hour's drive from Beijing, Tianjin will host the Olympic football matches. And this city of 100 million has been tasked under a national growth plan to be China's window to the world.
In the past decades, Tianjin's foreign direct investments reached $29 billion. Our economic and free trade zones, along with our Tianjin port, belong to one of China's most open policy zones. In the past years, we've also encouraged state-owned enterprise reforms. This is mainly to promote integration between local and foreign-owned firms.
The Beijing Olympics comes possibly at the height of China's sporting prowess. From fielding its first and only athlete in the 1932 Los Angeles Games to coming in third in the overall medal standings at Athens 2004. China's medal hauls have been increasing exponentially, and this year they aim to top the medal standings. And it's at these sports schools throughout the country where the talent is picked out. Athletes in China have never been motivated by commercial gain and from a very young age are taught to strive for the nation's glory.
What you're left with is a massive centralized state-down sports machine, you know, similar to what you have in East Germany or and used to have in the Soviet Union, where the state sort of manufactures athletes by taking them at a very young age and putting them through intensive course. And I think this is peaking with the Olympic Games.
Concerns about air pollution dominated the headlines in the build-up to these games, but Chinese authorities have made Olympian efforts to improve air quality by relocating or shutting down factories for the duration of the games and taking cars off the roads. Measures they say will continue after the Olympics.
And Beijing's got the Olympics to worry about, but many other Chinese cities are just following this path because it's good for their people and they think it's going to be good for business over the next 10 years.
Unlike Greece in 2004, China is ahead of the curve. The billions look to have been well spent, and top-class infrastructure and clearer skies will greet the athletes and visitors to Beijing this summer.
So is Beijing playing host successfully? We are going to tell you on the Olympian effort with special reports coming to you from that city in China. But for now, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to give you a sense of what India's medal prospects are at this year's Olympics. The only gold medals that India has won at the Olympic Games have been for hockey. So it stunned the entire country when the national hockey team failed to qualify at this year's Games. In the last 3 Summer Olympics, India has won a total of just 3 medals. Little wonder that interest in the outcome of the Olympic Games is so low. This year, we are sending a 57-strong Indian contingent. Let's take a look at what its medal prospects are.
You must realize that we are the best that you have.
India is sending 57 athletes to Beijing, 31 men and 26 women representing the country in sports as diverse as wrestling, athletics, rowing, judo, swimming and sailing. Having failed to qualify in the national sport hockey, India is casting the net wide in the quest for the elusive Olympic gold medal.
I can't tell you how many medals we'll get. That only a good astrologer can. But our shooting team is doing well. I expect a medal or two from the shooters. We have had shortage of ammunition in this country, unfortunately. And we have to send the teams abroad for training. But I'm sure that we'll get a medal or two. Then we have our boxers. They're doing very well. 5 boxers we're sending this time. 4 of them can do anything out of that lot. And so we expect something there.
So while the usual suspects, Anju George in the long jump, Leander and Mahesh in the tennis doubles,
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm peaking well at the moment. I'm feeling physically really ready for it. Fingers crossed, and a lot of more hard work, and we'll be ready to go.
and even Dola Banerjee in archery could deliver medals, it's another group who will be aiming for gold. It was in Athens on 17th August 2004 that Indian shooting came of age after flattering to deceive for so long. This year, India are sending 9 shooters to Beijing, and on their shoulders lie the weight of 1 billion expectations. The current face of Indian shooting is Manavjeet Singh Sandhu, world champion in the trap, brand ambassador for electronics giant Samsung, and emotional leader of the shooting squad.
Very satisfied with where I am today. I've worked extremely hard, and I'm sure that results will show that.
His 4 gold medals at the 2006 Commonwealth Games in Melbourne earned him the nickname of Goldfinger, and for Samresh Jung, there's no bigger stage than the Olympics.
Pressure is there, and pressure is always there. So it doesn't matter how many medals I've won yesterday. The thing, it depends on today, what I do today. So what I have done is already past, that's gone. Let's see what happens next. The medals I won were almost 2 years back. So it's a different game, different thing. We'll hope to do better, good. Let's see what happens.
Expectations weighed heavily on Anjali Bhagwat in Athens. She went in a contender, missed out on the final, and gave up on the sport in dismay. But the competitive instincts wouldn't dim, and this year she's back for her 3rd shot at Olympic glory.
Pressure is always there, whether you shoot in the World Cup, you shoot in the World Cup final or the Olympics. When you stand on the lane, when you pick up your rifle, you have to concentrate on the focus, and same tuck pulses are there, same thoughts are there. So you don't really remember whether you're shooting for the Olympics or you're shooting for the nationals. So experience matters a lot, and then expectations are always there. Last time also expectations were there from my country, from media, but this time expectations are there from my side also, because I have also worked for it again 4 years more.
The other shooter who came agonizingly close in Beijing was Abhinav Bindra. He is the current world champion and has been focusing on his preparations away from the spotlight in Germany. Shooting with him will be Gagan Narang, a man who has a love affair with China. Indian shooting's Mr. Cool, Narang has never failed to win a medal there and will hope his luck continues come August.
I think you can never get used to the pressure at the Olympics, no matter how many Olympics you play, because it comes once in 4 years. And when you're playing your first Olympics, you probably have the pressure saying that, okay, it's my first Olympics, I have to win. When you don't win in the first Olympics, you have your second, you say, oh, I didn't win the first, I need to win in the second. So I don't think that should be the right way to think about it.
And then there's Rathore. He may be going through a bad run of form, but he's always been a big match performer. India's flag bearer in the opening ceremony, he is aiming to be the first Indian to win back-to-back individual Olympic medals.
मैं सबसे बढ़िया हूँ, मुझे मेडल जीतना है, और मैं पूरी कोशिश करूँगा कि मैं मेडल जीतूँ.
Second only to the shooters come the boxers. This group of determined young boxers are not travelling to Beijing to make up the numbers. This time they're medal contenders. And leading the pack is Akhil Kumar. Gold medalist at the Melbourne Commonwealth Games, he's battled his way back from injury and clinched the Olympic qualification along with the Asian title.
हर कोई मेडल जीतना चाहता है, तो सब पूरी तरह तैयारी से, मतलब पूरी प्रिपरेशन होगी उनकी, तो कोई भी एक इजी बाउट नहीं होगी कि हम ये सोचें कि भाई आसान है सब कुछ. आसान कुछ भी नहीं है, लेकिन मुश्किल भी नहीं है.
And it's not just Akhil. Middleweight boxer Vijayendra Singh caused the biggest upset at the Asian qualifiers a few months back by beating the reigning Olympic gold medalist. The true strength of India's boxing squad is in the depth, and these brave pugilists are aiming to leave their mark in China.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope the Indian contingent comes back with a much bigger medal haul this year than they have done in the past few Olympic Games. And now let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to some of the super sports stars you should be watching at this year's Olympics. Watching the Olympian effort here on CNBC TV 18. Beijing promises 16 days of non-stop sporting action. More than 10,000 sports people will be vying to be the best in the world. Here are some of them you should be tracking.
Since the modern games began, the athletic events have been the centerpiece, and this year all eyes will be on the men's 100 meters. After doping convictions devastated the field, the frontrunners are the two Jamaicans, world record holder Usain Bolt and his great rival Asafa Powell.
The Olympic gold lasts longer than the world record because the person has to wait 4 more years really to be an Olympic gold medalist again if I win this year. But a world record can go at any time, really, any place, really.
The Olympic swimming events have always been full of drama and action, and the lead actors are the US swimming team. Last time out, they won 28 medals, including 12 golds. Amongst those looking to add to that number is 41-year-old Tara Torres. She will be taking part in her 5th Olympics, and despite her age, she is still sinking records at will.
To me, I'm getting so many emails how great it is that someone my age can do that, and if anything, it makes me proud that I'm my age and I can do this.
The star of the US team is this man, Michael Phelps. At Athens, the then 19-year-old won 6 golds from 8 events, and this year he will take his second shot at breaking Mark Spitz's record of 7 golds at one Olympics. He's qualified in 8 events, and there's no Ian Thorpe to stop him.
I want to be the first Michael Phelps. I don't want to be the second Mark Spitz. You know, I'm not downplaying his achievements by any means. You know, what he did is still the best Olympic, performance of all time. And, I'm just trying to do things that nobody else has done before.
After the embarrassment of Athens, where a squad comprising of NBA players could only manage bronze, this year the US basketball team, nicknamed the Redeem Team, will be hunting for nothing less than gold. The team, featuring NBA superstars Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, will be performing to packed houses in basketball-mad Beijing.
And those are some of the people you need to keep tabs on during Beijing Olympics 2008. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about an Olympic effort of another kind. 11 global companies have spent over $866 million to be official sponsors. What does that effort entail? We'll tell you same time next week, so do catch us then.